8 people who faked being homeless and didn't get away with it. Man with hidden legs. A video of a beggar from China had gone viral on social media sites back in 2016. At first, the man indeed appeared to be disabled as he didn't seem to have any feet and was using a wheel tray to move himself around. Most people turned a blind eye to this and even proceeded to give him some money. But one passerby didn't seem all too convinced about the beggar's terrible situation. The man's doubts were then confirmed when he pulled the beggar's trousers off, revealing a pair of perfectly good legs hidden underneath. The so-called beggar had tied up his legs in an attempt to gain sympathy and money from people. Man on the wheelchair. Gary Thompson first began his rounds on a wheelchair in 2016 in Louisville, Kentucky. He earned people's sympathy by faking an intellectual disability. But the charade wouldn't last for long. There were a group of journalists who eventually grew suspicious of Gary and decided to investigate the matter further. They soon learned that Gary was a professional at this and that he had become extremely good at convincing people of his disability. Doing all this would earn Gary nearly $100,000 each year. He was ultimately caught and vowed to never do the same thing again, but was caught quite a few times after that in the same act. The Hunchback Lady. A woman was spotted on the streets of Fifth Avenue in New York, begging with an extremely distorted back. Her back appeared to have been damaged so severely that she would not be able to move around without her crutches. The area she was often spotted in was home to some incredibly luxurious stores, which meant plenty of wealthy folk in the area. Upon seeing the woman, most of the wealthy people felt pity and wouldn't hesitate in giving her some money every now and then. However, a US media outlet had their doubts about the woman and decided to follow her. This led them to discover that the woman was, in fact, perfectly healthy and could easily walk without any support. It was also learned that this woman had a van parked not too far away where she would change into her normal clothes at the end of the day and leave. Gatorade Girl. Mika Dominguez had convinced the streets of Virginia that she was homeless as she was found regularly begging there. At first glance, it certainly seemed that she wasn't very well off, and out of sympathy, people would pay her a little money. However, it soon came to light that dear Mika was actually very rich and well-to-do. This was after 2 men followed her and finally confronted her about the truth. The poor woman was also getting government assistance when she clearly did not require it. She had enough funds to comfortably drive a luxurious car. The next day, Mika was arrested for throwing Gatorade bottles at cars. The pregnant beggar. It's a lot easier to gain people's attention and sympathy when you're a pregnant woman who is homeless. Such a case was discovered when a pregnant beggar was discovered entering a rather expensive Mercedes-Benz. The woman was originally seen outside a San Diego mall with a sign that was asking for financial help. When she was tracked down a few weeks later by the local police, she was with a man and a baby. They got into the car and drove to an apartment in the city whose rent costs at least $2,500 per month. The Professional Panhandler. Simon Wright is a 37-year-old man who used begging as a means of getting by in life. As a professional panhandler, he would make $65,000 every year while owning and living in an apartment that cost at least $400,000. Such cases in the UK are usually served with an antisocial behaviour order which prohibits a person from continuing this pretense. Simon was booked under this law and was even given multiple warnings. But in just a few months, he was caught begging again and was arrested. Simon admitted that he was in heavy debt and was afraid of losing his home. The Limping Man. In 2016, yet another video went viral of a homeless man begging on the streets of London. The man was seen limping on the streets and appeared to require crutches to walk. Most people pitied him and even stopped to give him some money as he seemed to be in a very bad state. But when his day ended, the man would abandon his limp and his crutches, hand them off to someone else and just walk away. He would then buy himself a decent meal with the money he got. When he got caught, the man refused to identify himself and quickly walked away. The Former Veteran. Across the world, there are several cases of veterans who aren't receiving proper care under the government systems. This makes people even more sympathetic when they come across a veteran begging on the streets. However, a man from England named Steve misused this fact. He was always seen with signs that said he was homeless and lonely and that he had served in the forces for almost 18 years. He had also mentioned the Royal Marine Service number. But further inspection led to the big discovery that Steve was faking all of it, which left many people disappointed.